Well, hi, I'm Phil Kaveny, and this is my friend of a lifetime, Gary Moore. And he gave me a call today, and we were going to get together for something, and so we made a lumberjack breakfast. How did you like breakfast, Gary?
I loved it. I loved it. It's better than Culver's.
Well, what did I make for you?
Well, let's see. There was Canadian bacon in a fry pan with olive oil, and then there was some kind of Polish sausage and potatoes that he microwaved first and then fried them in olive oil. Very healthy.
It was a recipe.
Even though it wasn't real healthy, it was fairly healthy.
Yeah, well, we're both gonna make up for it because Gary's been kind of my inspiration and my food plan for many, many years. And as a matter of fact, this turns out to be a kind of a big day for me because 47 years ago today, I quit drinking. And Gary remembers me from when I used to drink, and I would come to his brother's parties at their house on Jennifer Street and be asked to leave. But anyway, we're together and we're talking about media now. And what we'll be doing later in this video, we'll probably put a break in it, is I'm going to be doing a supplement for my wife's science fiction course on the British writer H.G. Wells. And H.G. Wells is he's not exactly the founder of science fiction as a literary genre, but he's famous for a story he wrote in 1895 that made his career called War of the Worlds, which was then turned into a radio program by Orson Welles in 1938, who was a very famous radio producer and kind of a ne'er-do-well actor. And he treated H.G. Wells' War of the Worlds as if it were a news story. And he just scared the living hell out of everybody. People thought we were really going to be attacked by Mars. Now, this isn't the version that's going to my wife's class, obviously, Gary. I mean, she wouldn't go for that. But I think I want to have this because what I'm trying to do, tell me what you used to do for a living for 38 years. Well, you were a school media coordinator and a photographer, and you did video production, you know, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, you know, if we can get you on the media production team, there'll be another breakfast just like that. I might even get a beef tenderloin for you.
Sure. No, I started out at University of Wisconsin Stout, and I majored in industrial and vocational ed, and but I really love photography. So I took all the photography classes, I took all the drafting classes, and my first job was teaching carpentry with a journeyman carpenter from Superior for 3 years. And I had my own photography business during that time. Took a lot of weddings and senior pictures. But after that, I got a job at Chautauqua School District, and I was there for 35 years. And that's where I did my media production. A lot of black and white darkroom work. And then I got into library, and the last 10 years I was actually a librarian for the school district.
Well, as long as I got you here, why don't you tell them a little bit about your ministry and the Somali coffee shop and some of the things you've done out there.
Sure.
And a little bit about your wrestling career too.
Sure. Well, let me just explain. For a Christmas present, I gave Phil a book that Ben Peterson actually wrote, but it was about him and his brother, John and Ben. They both won gold medals in, it was in the 1980s, I believe, the Olympics, and they're from Cumberland, Wisconsin. And there's a verse in the Bible that says, "Iron sharpens iron." And during their lifetime, they always wrestled against each other, and they really ended up both being gold medal winners, right from a little town up in northwestern Wisconsin, Cumberland. And so Phil wrestled in high school, Madison East, and I wrestled at Madison La Follette. And it gives you a good individual, I guess, esteem about yourself because it's an individual sport. And I
want to talk about little brothers here. There was a bunch of us that hung together in high school, and Gary was the little brother. He was 5.5 years younger than his brother Denny, and we we just sort of didn't notice them. You know, they were kind of like rugrats or something like that. But then when I was going to the University of Wisconsin after I'd stopped wrestling, and Gary was probably in about 7th or 8th grade, and about half my weight, and I was about 250 then, he said, "Could you show me some wrestling moves?" And so I'll be darned if I didn't. I showed him the switch and takedowns right in his mother's living room, which she didn't like too much. But I always have that image in my mind of Gary just like, teach me how. Huh? What? Oh, you? Yeah, okay.
So anyways, this guy that won the gold medal, he lives in Cumberland, but he's also a full-time missionary. He works with Christians in Action, and he goes to Mongolia and different places like that and works with athletes. And he goes to our church in Rice Lake, and then also one of my ministries at our church since I'm retired. I'll be 70 years old in May. And I've done carpentry work most of my life as well as teaching. So we have a ministry in our church called Helping Hands. And a lot of the people actually help people move, mostly senior citizens if they have to move from one building to another. But I've been more involved in helping people do carpentry work.
You know, we have kind of an unusual group here. Two of them aren't here. One's name is Matt Filio, and he is probably the best representative artist in western Wisconsin. And Jamie Dawn, who is a medical doctor, who has become my friend through very strange circumstances. She's one of the few people that ever really could stand up to me. And I'm going to mention her because she's off in Hawaii now doing medical missionary work in Christian witness, which means that she's got to like live what she believes and be a nice person. And I called her in Hawaii a little while ago, and I said, "Well, when you were there, what was the most interesting tropical disease you came upon?" And she said, "Oh, by far, lungworm fungus." And I'll tell you, boys and girls, you don't want to have it.
No.
Well, I think this is going to be kind of the interlude to the second video we're going to make on H.G. Wells. But Gary has sort of signed on. I'll make a beef tenderloin in it for you.
Okay.
And we'll do another production thing. And I showed him how to use YouTube today.
Yeah.
Okay.